Yeah. Another one. Another one. Another one. Another one. Y'all know what's going on, man. It's your boy, OK Bet, aka K Trades. And yeah, we had another one. We had another one, man. Sorry, I just finished hooping, so I'm all sweaty, but I was like, I might as well film this now before I, go shower up and shit. So I'm like, all right, let's do it. So, first off, did I not tell y'all this is what we was gonna do? Right? Did I not tell y'all? Hey, buy oversold dips with time. You feel what I'm saying? Did I not tell y'all that, right? Absolute low a day, right? Remember, look where we are. I've went over this every single day, all right? That's why it's still here. Look at this yellow, all right? We get back in that range. We got to come test the top, right? As long as we held the bottom, right? You would think it was, just simple, right? You would think people would listen, but some of y'all still not listening. But anyway, so even if you missed that, right, I gave everybody the most perfect, absolute lowest of day oversold dip, right? I'm talking about this was the perfect right here. Gave everybody the call out. I'm like, hey, I had been hooping too, so I wasn't even paying attention. I come back, I'm like, hold on, let me check the charts real quick. Let me see what's popping. I see it, I'm like, yeah. They was like, what's this? I said, generational dip buy. I had to let them know. You know what I'm saying? You gotta let the people know. So let me see. Yeah, look at that. What time is that? 12:28, right? 12:28 gave everybody a generational dip buy. Come on, man. Y'all can't say I never gave y'all nothing, right? You can't ever say I never gave y'all nothing. Generational dip buy, right? So zero smacked. I said, hey, 147 holds, you get right shoulder, buy again. 147, buy again. Shorter held, buy again. There was no continuation, right, into the end of the day. So, but this is why I was always saying, trim into the pops, selling to the pops, selling to the, you know what I'm saying? You got to make sure you're doing that because, confirmation is in above, breaking of levels and holding of levels. And continuation, right? That's how you know that it's confirmed for either side, right? So if it had been downside, we would have got a continuation through this. And if it was more upside, we would have got continuation through it, right? And I'm not gonna lie, I did swing a few calls, right? I did. There was some runners, man. So you got it. That's the whole point of having runners. You play your runners until they don't go. That's the whole point of them. You've already taken the majority of your position off, so hey, it's all fine. I did play NVIDIA today for 40 seconds. I was in NVIDIA for no cap 40 seconds. Here, that's it. Bro, I wish I was lying. I was in NVIDIA for 40 seconds. I did 40 seconds with NVIDIA. I did probably I think it was like a minute or two in AMD into that 5 day. Once I seen we needed the 5, I was like, yeah, for sure, I'm finna take that. It's super quick. But I actually am gonna swing AMD because I do like this overall hourly pennant, right? Pennant, bull flag, whatever you wanna, whatever you wanna call it. If you wanna start it here, make you feel better. Well, I don't know, whatever you wanna call it, right? So as long as we can break above this 55 and yesterday's high, wherever that is, 60, I do think we take out all-time highs and higher up to the 480s. This is usually a spy channel, but I had to throw that on y'all, real quick, just because, I've been seeing AMD running and everybody's catching the profit and I'm not catching it. So I'm like, hold on, let me just wait for a little entry. But yeah, so we're still going to basically use these same zones tomorrow. Obviously high of day, mark that. Previous day's close, so around 748. And then, make sure you're kind of watching kind of that same area here. This same area here in between 747.50 and 746 because it's really at that dollar range. Right. See if because if we gap up, right, like I said, this thing can really run for real. This is where I see it kind of topping officially, but it obviously it means nothing, right? Until we test it, until we know for sure, what I think means nothing. But if we do test and we do hold this overnight, right, really there's this whole zone here. Right, if we can just hold this zone here going into tomorrow. Right, any gap up that holds, we still push up. Now, if we start to reject this zone, right, which will kind of come in play as well with the same levels, as today. What the heck? All right, yeah. So if we do start to reject these levels, right, really under that 747.50 is 746, right, anywhere in that range. If we can't reclaim that, and push back up to get the 750 out, then we probably have a little, like I said, just another pullback. But you're only going to pull back, like I said, level to level. So if you do go short, make sure you know your targets, you're trimming, right? Because they can just they can do like this, right? Get you a good tight sweep in, and then just, and it never goes lower from here. So, be careful on that downside, man. Obviously, we know it can happen, but is that a wick? What was that? I don't know what that was, but yeah, it doesn't matter either way. Yeah, like I said, it's closed right now, so I guess it doesn't matter. But just be careful. You know what I'm saying? Make sure y'all are aware of, everything. Whoa, that happened at 7:50 or 1:15. Dang, see, that's how they do you, because you can take trades after that close, 3:00 close. They didn't got you. They're like, yeah, go ahead and get in, smack. But yeah, let's pray for our runners. I want those runners to be up 200%, a million. Ooh, this wig's popping up crazy. But yeah, like I said, this is why we had to take more off, and this is why I didn't want to hold those positions, into the Friday, because look at this now, like, look at this. This is just up, and every time we've kind of tapped, not to say that we've came down immediately, but we can top and grind up and then pull back, right? Kind of top, grind up, pull back, top, grind up. So we get another grind up, tomorrow to finish everybody off. You're right. The last set of bears, everybody's like, all right, flip, that's, if I was a market maker, that's what I would do. I'd probably push it one more time just to, cause all of us think like, how there's stocks that go from like, they're at $90 and everybody wants that 100, but everybody's thinking the same thing. So we'll all be like, yeah, I'll still sell at 99. So if I was a market maker, I would be like, nah. Let's actually give them 750, get them to buy in on 750, and then dump it. So yeah, I am looking for some opportunities to go short. Obviously, I'm not just blindly going short in the bull market. Clearly not, because like I said, hold on. Right, they got to break out, retest. So if this does clear at any time overnight, whatever, then we have to assume that any other test would get bought up, right, in normal hours. But if overnight we can stay below, right, then we can kind of either, be prepared for downside if it can't reclaim, right? It'll be an easier high or low. Remember, high. So anything that doesn't reclaim that, high or low, right, you probably can set it right back into that 744. So, yeah, man, again, every day, super simple. It's always simple, right? Like I always say, it's as simple as you make it, right? If you want to be complicated and have all this, well, what about the data, the news, what about this and this person about to speak? And if you want to make it that complicated, go ahead, but you don't really have to make it that complicated. Not everything is always that important, right? And we've seen time and time again, some things that used to be important, just not important no more, right? They don't move the needle as much, right? Remember last April, Trump said the word tariff, boy, you instant flood. Like, I'm talking about 500% SPX in 1 minute, like crazy stuff. But now, if he says tariff, like, depending on who you talking about, it might not do anything. So, we gotta be careful not to let the news and all that stuff really mess with your head too much. Because at the end of the day, the chart's gonna do what the chart's gonna do. You feel what I'm saying? Like, and then, like I said today, we caught that absolute low on today, right? Because remember, if it starts pumping and open, we don't buy into that, right? We wait for some sort of pullback, right? And then like I said, we already had our middle. We already had the middle of the zone, so we already were knowing hey, we can use this as some either support or resistance. Why? Because we rejected here, rejected. Finally, rejected a little bit, got that push over, right? So, yeah, just be aware of what you're consuming when it comes to either fear-mongering or, overhype. Like, if someone's just too hype, like, yeah, this is about to go to 1 million, everyone, you know what I'm saying? You still got to be careful either side. I'm not saying one side is better than the other. If anyone's just too, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, just be careful what you're consuming. Let the chart speak for themselves. People lie. What they say, men lie, women lie, but numbers don't lie. So, yeah, these charts ain't going to lie to you. These numbers, these levels, they're not going to lie to you. And, yeah, we're going to keep banking. So today was just a beautiful day. Banked, a bunch of times. I probably was in trades for probably like 8.5 minutes total. Like, yeah. So that's how it's supposed to be, man. You find your levels. You do all this stuff beforehand. So then when the market opens, you're not sitting here like, oh, my gosh, where's support? Where's resistance? What do I do? Especially when it's just continuously going up. I think people are always worried about downside when it's going up. But when they're in shorts, they're never concerned about they just want to keep going. But when they're in calls, they're like, nah, this is too good to be true, It's just too good to be true. But you got to remember, like, look, turn all of this off. Just get rid of everything. Look at everything. Look at this. Look at this. This looks crazy, but look at this. Look at all these weeks and weeks. One red week, two right here. We're like, this is still weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks of green close, green, 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 green. One red, green, 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 green. You know what I'm saying? Like, this isn't not, like, okay, it may not be like normal as far as like how fast it's going, true. But to say that it just can't go higher, I mean, look at this. You know, COVID. Not only did it go higher, but it went up double, you know? So, yeah. Whenever the top is here officially, we'll catch it. We'll know, right? And, yeah. But I'm not going to, like I said, if the short opportunities present itself, of course, obviously. But I'm not looking at these charts and these candles and being like, where the puts at? You know what I'm saying? I already gave y'all the one day that I was going to do puts that I slept through, right? The one day is the day we came down to, where is it at? Right here, where I was like, hey, going down to 731, 734. That is the one day I wanted to do shorts, and I slept through it, you know? So that fucking sucks. But other than that, man, like, all dips are buys as of now. And then when they're not, they will coincide with levels, right? The levels will be like, okay, hey, breakdown, retest. You can't reclaim, blah, 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 continuation. You know, like, we'll see it. So, yeah, stop stressing, relax. I know I didn't go live with y'all today, but y'all still should have banked. Y'all still should have banked. I gave y'all the levels, so. Yeah, that's pretty much it, man. No basketball today. I don't know what I'm about to do. I guess I'll do my homework, unfortunately. But, yeah, that's it. See y'all.